everybody. Okay, TangoLOG number 16. I recorded un poco, so I hung up a little bit, and I didn't really quite keep up last week with the transmissions, which were planned to be 3 per week. But the nice thing about this is that I am the boss of me, so yeah, I guess nothing happens if I don't transmit. But anyways, except that I actually have felt a little bit of a difference in my dancing since I've been doing these transmissions. I mean, figuring stuff out for myself and really, analyzing it with the pressure of going live, of course, has made a difference. So, yeah. Anyways, without much further ado, today I want to think about the torso. So basically this level from here to here. And I have like one magic trick that I think really helps me a lot. I mean, if I remember to do it, I think it really solves a lot of my problems here. I think I should move it up a little bit. There we go. And so basically about the torso, one thing that really helps me is to think about the waist area. So as I mentioned before, in a lot of my other transmissions, when it was more summery down here in Buenos Aires, I have a top and I tie it here with like a knot in the back, and it really helped because like my area here is usually like all over the place, so it just kind of goes all over the place. And so today we have like a new element instead of the flowers. I'm going to use a red ribbon to look at this area right here. So right now there's also a trend, there's like fashion trends in Tango, right? Like there's like fashion trends for shoes and there's fashion trends for how people dress as well. And you see a lot of girls dancing with like a belt here, with like the knee-length skirt or something. And that's kind of a trend right now, at least here in Buenos Aires. I don't really know what people are wearing outside. But anyways, yeah, they have a belt here. And I don't know if it's actually are conscious of it, but for me, one time I got really frustrated and I just actually taped myself with like masking tape here for a practice. This is like 2-3 years ago at least, 3 years ago. Oh my god, okay, yeah, 3.5 years ago, and it really helps. So I mean, if I discovered it 3 years ago, why do I still not have it incorporated in my body? Well, I don't really know, but anyways. And as a side note, so what I like to do is, usually like if you relax, it like goes out, or like it moves all over the place, or like this thing happens, or that thing happens, whatever. But if you have like this line here, which I'm gonna tie instead of tape, actually I have red tape too. Should I bust out the tape? No, I'm just gonna use the ribbon for now, I think. Yeah, so here is this magic, no, actually I can use the tape. Sorry. Okay, so instead of a red ribbon, we have like red tape, yeah. Does this look a little crazy again? Yes, it does. Okay, but anyways, so here's the red tape, right? If you keep it the same size without like expanding, it kind of helps. So instead of this red tape, oh no, it's like a little crooked. So this line here should actually always be parallel to the floor, and if you control it, it really helps the torso. So So instead of doing this, like see how this changes, or see how like this changes, like it goes from like this, right? So like if it's parallel to the floor and it's parallel to the floor, like you walk around, like this other, like as I mentioned just from the first transmission, keep this think about keeping one body part still and have everything else move so that you're not blocked. Because usually, sometimes when you try to keep something parallel to the floor or try to keep your balance, like everything is blocked and then there's not enough space to move. So really, let's try to think about this part being still and then everything else can move. So instead of being like this, right? So yeah. And also this is interesting because if you look from the side, this thing parallel and this can move. So like this technically this can stay parallel and this thing can happen. As long as like this thing doesn't happen or like this thing doesn't happen, right? Like as long as it stays parallel and like engaged, I have to say engaged. And then have everything else move. This is like, there we go. So this is actually a magic trick that I think is like one of my best discoveries for me anyway. If I could just happen to actually keep it all the time, it would be great. Yeah, so let's see, parallel this way. Yeah, so if you keep it parallel, you could do like, you know, an orinals, or you could do like some stuff, you know. Keep it parallel, you can lay on the back. Oh yeah, so there we go. Like if I go up and this becomes like this is bad, right? So this needs to stay here. Can I do? Yeah, so if you lift the leg, this stays parallel. Because I just noticed that this tends to happen, right? Like this whole thing happens. So here we go. This happens. So this needs to stay still. And in the boleo. Well, in the boleo too, if this happens, right? Like this is actually tilting, so this needs to stay like this. And oh my left leg is I'm kind of hurt here, so it's not really working. Anyway, so that's the magic waist trick. With ocho, let's see. If I think about this area, it also helps. And one thing while we're talking about ocho. Yeah, so what I usually do is something like, I can't see. Yeah, so in ocho, usually what I do is this. So this line is not straight. Yeah, it also takes some tension off the shoulders too, I think. But otherwise, I mean, if this area is completely dead and it's just not active, we tend to like draw force from here or like from the feet is good. But anyway, so the point is, this thing stays parallel. Oh, okay, parallel to the floor. Okay, and so what's going on? Yeah, I wanted to mention something from classes with I've been taking with Dante Sanchez and Hekier. Well, first let me mention something by Greta. She's one of the girls that you know, she has short hair. She looks not yeah, she just looks cool, and you know, she has something when she dances that just like it's just another one of those girls that I say, oh, this girl's onto something because there's a certain harmony in her body and the way she dances that I just, you know, like for me, I think it's very eye-catching from the very first moment. It's hard to place exactly what it is because it's just a certain presence or something like that. But anyway, I was in a class with her and Dante in Dante Studio, I asked her something specific, you know, and she only had 2 seconds, but she mentioned something like, oh, well, for the ocho, so yeah, I was like, hey, what do you think about this problem, or something like that. I don't even remember what the problem exactly was. But she said, like, well, I work with diagonals in the torso. So she works with diagonals from here, like she mentioned, from here to here and here to here. So in the ocho, she thinks about diagonals, like this diagonal here. Oh, there we go, we can use oh man, I'm really going overtime. It's already the 4th song. This is how we Tanda today, but anyways, I will extend a little bit as usual. So let's see the diagonals from here to here, right? And actually, so one more thing I would like to mention is, speaking of like, oh, I thought I had incorporated things like, you know, from like I've already discovered from years before. I mean, yeah, so in the other sessions, like I started with the flowers here, right? Like the red flowers. Which I also have prepared. Let's like, so I have flowers like here, and then we also talked about the shoulders when they were here, right? And so really basically these are the same points that I had worked on before. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I thought I learned this stuff like years ago, you know? But the thing is, the interesting thing about going to many different teachers, and the good thing about it is that sometimes you have like one problem and then hearing different perspectives and different, like coming at it from different angles really helps, because I mean you could be hearing one thing from one teacher in one way, you understand it one way, and then when you hear it put in a different way, you're like, oh, aha, in another way. So anyways, yeah. So these are basically, let's see. Now let's see about connecting, because I had thought about connecting these flowers, right, and keeping them in line to keep your balance. So like if you're here, try to not do this or this, and then also with the foot flower, right? So now, that's interesting. Like when Greta came over, I was like, okay, well, like, you know, think about this flower with this point here, and then in the diagonals for the ochos, right? So think about the diagonals. So let's see. This would be the one thing. You go over, it needs to extend, right? So if I go over and let it slide, it comes back a little bit looser. So it's extending on one side. And so what happens on the other side? Well, let's see. So from from here, like it gets lax. So I mean this side, so this diagonal like kind of gets shorter, and this diagonal expands. So this way would be this diagonal expands, this diagonal gets shorter. Right, okay. So in ochos, if you're thinking about this diagonal getting shorter and this diagonal getting longer, yeah, here we go. And then on the other side, it would be, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, so this, I wanted to do this. This is actually what I wanted to do right now. Yeah, this is my temptation, my natural reaction was to go step and then down. Well, that's interesting to know, right? So really, no. Step, keep this level, and then think about the diagonal here. Look. And this expands. But this kind of goes. And what I feel right now is that this thing stay back more. This allows me to stay back more. So what it would be like this, and then diagonal, right? So usually what I do is this, and then this, right? So, well, there you go. Let me put okay, yeah, flowers go on. Okay. Yeah, this is actually my problem here. So, with the, let's go. Okay, well, I'm running out of time. This is Duelo Criollo, one of my favorite songs. Actually, okay. So, this flower here, I'm feeling like thinking about a diagonal really helps me. Well, I would be. No, what are we doing? Oh yeah, it would be this way. Let me go behind the bar. So, I think the flower might be long. But anyways, the point here is that usually I go forward and then try to dissociate here. No. So if I think about a diagonal, somehow it magically makes me do more like this. So this stays back more. Well, I'm raising my shoulders, so really it should be back. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. So, straight forward. I think I need to keep this back. Diagonal. Yeah, it really allows for dissociation. So like what's going on here? The diagonals can also move the hips, right? Like, oh, there we go. Oh, that's interesting. Do it. Oh, there we go. I like this. Okay, so that's interesting for the ultras if we look for that in the pivot, right? Yeah, so I feel like it's easier because it's just kind of like your hips kind of just are freer. So usually I do like, oh, and then this thing happens, and this like extra thing happens. So, yeah. Use that in the ultra for the pivot. Yeah, so I think the problem now is everything falls apart when I try to move. Like, I feel like I'm doing this thing is okay now. And then when things get to move, like I'm doing this. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. There we go. Diagonal. And then, so I keep this diagonal here. And then, oh yeah, there we go. So displace, whatever. Displace the whole diagonal. There we go. Okay, that's a magic piece of information that might help everything. So, I feel like what's helpful now is, let's see. So I'm here, right? How do I? Oh, anyways, kind of, sorta. Does this work? Oh, okay. Yeah. And yeah, what I'm doing. So diagonal. There we go. So diagonal this way, and the whole diagonal is displaced when you move. Because I think I want to get to here. Oh, wait. Get to here. Go down. Get here, and then one thing move. So like not the whole diagonal. So the whole diagonal should whole diagonal should move over there now. Once I have it, there we go, feel the diagonal. This whole thing moves together. This whole thing moves together. Just help keep my hip. Whole thing moves together. I tend to close this a little bit still, don't I? But, oh yeah. And then there's like, I mean the feet are horrible right now. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like stepping, but anyway, the whole point is that this whole diagonal moves together. Move. I think that makes me look a little bit better, doesn't it? Okay, well, I mean, I guess then I should go into how do you make it move? Well, you know, feel the foot on foot. Wait, for today is torso, so let's do more. Yeah, this thing still happens. Wait, guys. Oh, yeah. So I haven't even mentioned anything about Dante Sanchez as well. Yeah, he won the world championship with like a long time ago. And actually, he's one of the people who has a style consistent with my main teacher. You know, it's a little bit more, I don't know if it's traditional, but anyway, there's a small group of teachers who have like a consistent style, or at least possible to be consistent, and he's one of them. And so he has a nice set of exercises that he starts classes with. And one of them is, you know, you do ultras by yourself, like small ultras, and talks about the hips facing that way and the hips facing that way. So instead of just being like lazy and doing this, right, it should be there. Oh, anyways, yeah. So it's hard to do without like going like all over the place, right? But anyways, so you know, I was there doing the exercise, trying to stay, you know, kind of calm. Yeah, there's no thing about the waist as well. And then he comes over and then he just, you know, he moves my hips a little. And then I realized that, oh my gosh, like really, you know, you can feel like you were doing so much. Really, that's not a lot. I mean, really, this needs to go all the way, right? And this should stay at 4. So, actually, he has a lot more to teach than just like, hey, move your hips a little bit more or rotate them a little bit more. But actually, one of the good things that a good teacher does is that he or she is able to see what's really different in your body and what's going on and what it should be, right? And so like these personal fixes are sometimes the most valuable you can get from a teacher, in addition to the whole Tango vision and their whole set of technique. Okay, so let me just do one more song. We'll put it on. Yeah, so the idea now is like, so now when I do ultras, I need to actually have this here, like instead of being a little bit, it's a big difference between, like it's a small difference here and here. So one thing I really like was actually pushing your limits. Sometimes you need a teacher to actually push your limits for you because you think, oh, I'm comfortable like rotating to about here, right? No, it's actually this thing. So between the diagonal, this thing needs to happen. So yeah, I don't know, like this. Oof. This stays still, stays parallel. Yeah, so how do I show this? This, because I really don't have it incorporated. Yeah, so there's an extra here that I feel that I'm not used to feeling. How do I get here? Yeah, there we go. And then there's diagonals of Greta. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so really having the hips face that way and then the hips face that way is like extra, because it's just so much easier to do there, right? This is like pretty easy. So now it's really, and then Greta's and diagonals really help too. So instead of going like this, right? This is not working with the diagonal, it's this thing here. Even though you're turning more, it's not going up. It's this diagonal here. Well, which diagonal? This diagonal stays stretched, so this stays down too. Duck. No, I want to do this. No, it should be this. Okay, yeah, I mean the feet look horrible and anything. But, okay, yeah, I went really over time. I actually have something later, so, well, yeah, I guess this week I'm back with the TangoLOG, and I'll try to keep up with myself and my own discipline. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.